This is the Skatebolt Tornado 2. I spent 3 months with this electric skateboard, testing its limits and capabilities across more than 120 miles. And now it's time for me to give my full review. So when I initially looked at the specs for this board, I was extremely excited, but also a little bit skeptical. Because this is the first time I see a $550 board that should be able to go 25 miles per hour and have a 25-mile range. So evidently I had to put it to the test myself to see exactly what it was capable of. Before we get on to the actual tests, let's take a quick look at what's inside the box. Apart from the board itself, you get a charger, a wireless remote control and a USB cable for charging that remote. You also get a T-tool with all the essentials to adjust the trucks and wheels and other hardware to your liking. Lastly, there's a user manual which I definitely recommend you read before riding. It's only a handful of pages and gives you all of the essentials before rolling. So the Tornado 2 uses two 350 watt hub motors, and it has a specified top speed of 25 miles per hour. The speed and acceleration can be unlocked gradually through 4 different speed modes. Now I use a RageLogic V-Box Sport performance logger to track the speed, range and acceleration. It's quite an expensive piece of equipment, but it gives very accurate readings. And just for your information, I'm 165 pounds, so heavier or lighter riders may get different results. I was able to clock a top speed of 25.2 miles per hour on a flat surface. I was pleasantly surprised to see that it actually held up to its promise in terms of speed. If you're familiar with electric ridables, you'll know that they have some kind of performance drop-off as the battery level diminishes. With the Tornado 2, I found that to be very limited. Now the top speed and acceleration only really started to decrease when I got below 20% of power, at which point the remote will give you a friendly reminder that you are running low on juice. I moved on to test the acceleration by seeing how fast I could go from a standstill to 15 miles per hour. I ran 4 of these benchmarks and took the average time, which turned out to be 4.04 seconds. Now this is a very solid score. Compared to the MaxFind Max 2 Pro and the Backfire G2T, which are some other skateboards I've reviewed, it definitely feels a lot snappier. Skatebolt states that the Tornado 2 can handle 25-degree inclines. From my testing, I was able to conquer a 24-degree incline while maintaining a speed of around 8 miles per hour. So it's definitely a good option for riders who live in a hilly area as well. If you use your electric skateboards for commuting, range and battery quality is incredibly important. The Skatebolt Tornado 2 is fitted with a 42 volts 7.5 amp hours lithium-ion battery under the deck. Now this translates to a battery capacity of 350 watt hours, which is more than the Backfire Cellet or the Backfire G3, which are both more expensive models. It takes around 3 hours to fully charge, and Skatebolt says that it can cover a range of 22 to 25 miles on a single charge. And now this was the specification I was the most doubtful about, so once again I put it to the test. Electric skateboards will rarely be able to cover the range that manufacturers specify, and this is because they test them in these almost clinically impossible settings to maximize the stats. So how does this one perform in a real-world scenario? Now I rode the battery empty at 3 different speeds to see just how good the range was. In my first test, I averaged 19.7 miles per hour and I got 15.4 miles of range. Now this was the fastest test, and I really tried to push the speed beyond what I would normally ride at. Now the second time I held an average speed of 15.3 miles per hour, and that yielded 18.2 miles of range. Now this is what I consider the most accurate real-life range because this is the speed I normally ride at. The last test, I tried to push the battery further by decreasing my average speed down to 12.2 miles per hour. And I actually managed to get 20.9 miles on a single charge here. While this isn't exactly the 22 to 25 miles stated on their website, I am still really impressed by the range I was able to cover. For me, 18.2 miles is more than enough for a full day of commuting, and it's definitely notably higher than what I've gotten from similarly priced boards. So now that we got the benchmarking out of the way, let's talk a bit about the actual board itself and its design. The Skatebolt Tornado 2 has a rather bulky longboard style deck that measures 38 by 11 inches. The board itself is 5.5 inches tall, and there's plenty of ground clearance up to the enclosure below the deck. The deck itself is made out of 8 layers of Northeast maple, and it feels extremely strong. Maple is known to stand the test of time and provide excellent solidity. The only drawbacks here are that it's a heavier material than stuff like bamboo, and that it provides less flex. The deck has a very mellow concave, which gives you the benefit of added grip and control without sacrificing space for your feet. The slight concave also aids in making it easy to carve. The deck has little to no flex. This makes sense because the entire underside is covered by an enclosure that contains the electronic components. Personally, I would have preferred a little more flex to help absorb road vibrations, but the wheels and trucks already do a solid job at that. So this board uses extremely thick PU wheels. They measure 90 by 52 millimeters and have a large contact surface for stability and road grip. 90 millimeters is a good size, as you can easily ride over small rocks and cracks in the road, but if you live in a place with very poor road conditions, you may want to upgrade to 100 millimeter wheels. The wheel durometer is at 83A, which is pretty much right in the middle for electric skateboards. It balances both grip and drag excellently. Now the trucks are super unique here. These are hands down the widest trucks I've ever ridden on an electric skateboard, and they make for a unique riding experience. The stability is excellent and you always feel in control, even at high speeds. I experienced no speed wobbles whatsoever and was surprised to find how smoothly I could carve even at high speeds without losing control. We also have the bushings to thank for that. The trucks are made from steel and aluminum alloy. Steel is an extremely strong material, so they are bound to last for a long time. The only drawback, once again, is the increased weight. I really like the remote control design. It fits nicely in my hands and has a pleasantly soft surface. It is on the small end, but it wasn't a problem for me personally. Now you have 3 buttons at the front, a throttle stick, and a forward-backward switch. There's also a display that shows important information like your speed, the battery levels, riding modes, and mileage. The remote is evidently powered on using the power button, but you can actually also turn on the skateboard without bending down and pressing the power button on that. You simply have to push the skateboard forward while engaging the brakes on the control, and this will turn on the skateboard. Using the HL button, you can circle through the 4 different speed modes, and if you engage the brakes at the same time, you get access to 4 different brake modes as well. Now this is one of the nicest features I've seen on this Tornado 2, and it is something I think every board should have. I initially thought the brakes were too sharp, only to find out that it was actually starting in the highest braking mode. But when I turned it down to mode number 2, it felt just right for me. This is a nice feature because ideal brake levels always depend on the rider and their skill level. Being able to adjust it is super important. Now on to an awesome safety feature that a lot of boards lack: rear brake lights. The Tornado 2 has 2 red brake lights at the rear that will flash when you brake. Additionally, you can enable them all the time by holding down the LED button, which is excellent if you're riding at night. The LED button will also let you enable cruise control if you click it once you're at your desired speed. Simply engage the brakes to stop the cruise control. The throttle itself is really nice. Again, it's on the smaller side, but it feels smooth and it's easy to make small gradual adjustments so you don't get a jolty ride. There is no noticeable latency between the remote and the board itself, which is a problem some cheaper boards have suffered from. Lastly, there's a forward and backward switch on the side of the controller. I rarely use this, but it's nice to have, and it's something that's become commonplace on most e-skate controllers nowadays. All the other buttons felt like nice quality, but this switch felt a little bit cheap, and I had problems pushing it up and down as if there was some kind of resistance there. All in all, the remote is great. Unless you've got really big hands or only want to use your left hand for the controller, then I'm sure you will enjoy it. It is designed for right-hand use, but this goes for pretty much all e-skate controllers. I've talked about individual parts, but I wanted to comment on the build as a whole too. Now, it's quite a bulky board. It weighs 19 pounds and has a load capacity of 264 pounds. It's definitely not something you want to carry around all the time. You'll want to keep it on the road as much as possible. It's excellent for speed and ride quality, and it has an impressive range as well. And looking at the construction materials, I don't doubt that it will serve me well through extended wear and tear, but the main trade-off I keep coming back to is the weight. If you don't mind the 19 pounds of weight and large dimensions, then you'll have a hard time finding a board that packs so much value into such a smooth ride at this price point. The Skatebolt Tornado 2 is a versatile value pack offering ideal for both beginners and advanced riders. With its 25.2 miles per hour top speed and 4 separate speed and brake modes, there's plenty of room to grow accustomed to the speed before unleashing the full power of this beast. It's a solid option for commuters with its 18.2 mile tested range, and the 25-degree hill climb ability ensures that you can handle whatever is in front of you. The board is extremely stable, and the truck and bushing system effectively absorbs road vibrations and keeps you steady when you're carving around the street. If you're after a lightweight and portable solution, however, there probably are better options out there. The Tornado 2 weighs 19 pounds, which isn't crazy overboard, but it isn't going to be as easy to carry around as smaller penny boards would. Lastly, if you want something with a lot of deck flex, this isn't it either. However, the design still does a great job at absorbing shocks despite this. The large trucks help a lot with stability and eliminating wobbles at high speeds. My final verdict is that the Skatebolt Tornado 2 is among the best electric skateboards you can get at this price point. It's a true longboard style beast with impressive specs and an even more impressive price. Alright, that's it for this review. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you want to support the channel, feel free to use our affiliate link in the description or click the subscribe button for more videos. You may always use the coupon code eRideHero for a 5% discount over at Skatebolt. Thanks for watching.